From translation, ISV International Standard Version, this 210 day of the year, today we are reading passages, Isaiah 5-8, Isaiah chapter 5, verses 1 to 30, let me sing for my beloved a song of my beloved regarding his vineyard. My beloved had a vineyard on a fertile hill. He dug it up, gathered out its stones, planted it with choice vines, built a tower in the middle of it, and also carved out a wine vat. He expected it to produce good grapes, but it produced only worthless ones. And now, inhabitants of Jerusalem and people of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done for my vineyard that I haven't done in it? When I expected it to produce good grapes, why did it produce worthless ones? So now I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will remove its hedge, and it will be consumed. I will break down its wall, and it will be trampled. I will make it a wasteland. It won't be pruned or hoed, and thorns and briars will grow up. I will also command the clouds not to rain on it. For the vineyard of the Lord of the heavenly armies is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah are the plantings in which he delighted. He waited for justice, but look, bloodshed, for righteousness, but look, a cry of distress. Woe to those who add house to house and join field to field, until there is no more room, and you are made to dwell alone in the midst of the land. In my hearing the Lord of the heavenly armies has sworn, surely many houses will become desolate, even great and beautiful ones, with no occupants. For 10 acres of vineyard will yield only one bath, and a homer of seed will yield only an ephah. Woe to those who rise early in the morning to run after strong drink, who stay up late at night until wine inflames them. At their feasts they have lyre, harp, tambourine, flute, and wine, but they do not look at the work of the Lord, nor do they consider the operation of his hands. Therefore my people go into exile for lack of knowledge. Their honored men are famished, and their multitude is parched with thirst. Therefore Sheol has enlarged its appetite, and opened its mouth beyond measure. The splendor of Jerusalem will go down, her multitude into it, her tumult and all who rejoice in her. So the common man will be brought down, the great man humbled, and the eyes of the arrogant will be humbled. But the Lord of the heavenly armies is exalted by justice, and the holy God shows himself holy by righteousness. Then the lambs will graze as in their own pasture, and strangers will eat in the ruins of the wealthy. Woe to those who drag iniquity along with cords of falsehood, and sin as if with a cart rope, who say, let him hurry, let him speed up his work, so that we may see it. Let the plan of the Holy One of Israel draw near and come to pass, so that we may know it. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who substitute darkness for light and light for darkness, who substitute bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own opinion, and clever in their own sight. Woe to those who are heroes at drinking wine, and valiant at mixing mixed drinks, who acquit the guilty for a bribe, but deprive the innocent of justice. Therefore, as the tongue of fire devours stubble, and dry grass sinks down in the flame, so their root will become like rot, and their blossom will blow away like dust. For they have rejected the instruction of the Lord of the heavenly armies, and they have despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. Therefore the Lord's anger burns against his people. He has raised his hand against them and struck them down. The mountains quake, and their corpses are like refuse in the streets. Even with all this, his anger is not spent, his hand is still raised. He will raise a signal for a distant nation, and whistle for it from the ends of the earth. And look, it comes quickly and swiftly. No one will be tired or stumble among them. No one will slumber or sleep, nor will the belt on their waist be loose, nor the strap of their sandals be broken. Their arrows are sharp, all their bows are bent, their horses' hoofs seem like flint, and their chariot wheels like a whirlwind. Their roaring is like a lioness, they roar like young lions, they growl and seize their prey, they carry it off, and no one can rescue it. They will roar over it on that day, like the roaring of the sea. And if one looks at the land, behold, darkness and distress, and the light is darkened by its clouds. Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1 to 13. In the year of King Uzziah's death, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, high and exalted, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Seraphim stood above him. Each had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. One called to another, saying, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of the heavenly armies. The whole earth is full of his glory. The foundations of the thresholds trembled at the voice of those who called, and the temple was filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me, for I am ruined. Because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of the heavenly armies. Then one of the seraphim flew to me, carrying a live coal in his hand, which he had taken from the altar with tongs. He touched my mouth with it and said, Look, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away, and your sin is atoned for. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, Here am I, send me. He said, Go and tell this people, Be ever hearing, but never understanding. Be ever seeing, but never perceiving. Make the heart of this people calloused, make their ears dull and blind their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn and be healed. Then I said, How long, O Lord? And he answered, Until cities lie waste without inhabitant, and houses without people, and the land is utterly desolate, until the Lord sends people far away, and the forsaken places are many in the midst of the land. And though a tenth remain in it, it will be burned again, like a terebinth or an oak, whose stump remains when it is felled. The holy seed is its stump. Isaiah chapter 7, verses 1 to 25. In the days of Ahaz the son of Jotham, son of Uzziah, king of Judah, Rezin the king of Aram and Pekah the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up to Jerusalem to wage war against it, but could not conquer it. When it was reported to the house of David, saying, Aram has joined forces with Ephraim, his heart and the hearts of his people shook as the trees of the forest shake before the wind. Then the Lord said to Isaiah, Go out now to meet Ahaz, you and your son Shear-Jashub, at the end of the conduit of the upper pool, on the highway to the fuller's field. Say to him, Be careful, be quiet, do not fear, and do not let your heart be faint because of these two smouldering stubs of firebrands, because of the fierce anger of Rezin and Aram and the son of Remaliah. Because Aram, along with Ephraim and the son of Remaliah, has planned evil against you, saying, Let us go up against Judah, terrify it, and conquer it for ourselves, and set up the son of Tabeel as king in the midst of it. Thus says the Lord God. It shall not stand, nor shall it come to pass. For the head of Aram is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin. Within 65 years Ephraim will be too shattered to be a people. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is the son of Remaliah. If you do not stand firm in faith, you will not stand at all. Again the Lord spoke to Ahaz, Ask a sign of the Lord your God. Let it be deep as Sheol or high as heaven. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, and I will not put the Lord to the test. Then Isaiah said, Listen now, O house of David, is it too slight a thing for you to try the patience of men, that you will try the patience of my God as well? Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child, and is about to give birth to a son, and she will call him Emmanuel. He will eat curds and honey when he knows enough to refuse the evil and choose the good. For before the boy knows enough to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land whose two kings you dread will be abandoned. The Lord will bring upon you and upon your people, and upon your father's house such days as have not come since the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria. In that day the Lord will whistle for the fly that is at the end of the streams of Egypt, and for the bee that is in the land of Assyria. And they will all come and settle in the steep ravines, and in the clefts of the rocks, and on all the thorn bushes, and on all the pastures. In that day the Lord will shave with a razor that is hired beyond the river, with the king of Assyria, the head and the hair of the feet, and it will sweep away the beard also. In that day a man will keep alive a young cow and 2 sheep. And because of the abundance of milk that they give, he will eat curds, for everyone who is left in the land will eat curds and honey. In that day every place where there used to be 1,000 vines, worth 1,000 shekels of silver, will become briars and thorns. With bow and arrows a man will come there, for all the land will be briars and thorns. And as for all the hills that used to be hoed with a hoe, you will not go there for fear of briars and thorns. But they will become a place where cattle are let loose and where sheep tread. Isaiah chapter 8, verses 1 to 22. Then the Lord said to me, Take a large tablet and write on it in ordinary letters, belonging to Mahashal-Hashbaz, and I will get for myself faithful witnesses to attest for me, Uriah the priest and Zechariah the son of Jeberechiah. And I went to the prophetess, and she conceived and bore a son. Then the Lord said to me, Call his name Mahashal-Hashbaz, for before the boy knows how to cry, My father, or my mother, the wealth of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria will be carried away before the king of Assyria. The Lord spoke to me again, Because this people has refused the gently flowing waters of Shiloh, and rejoices with Rezin and the son of Remaliah, therefore, behold, the Lord is bringing up against them the waters of the river, mighty and many, the king of Assyria and all his glory. And it will rise over all its channels, and overflow all its banks, and it will sweep on into Judah. It will overflow and pass on, reaching even to the neck, and its outspread wings will fill the breadth of your land, O Emmanuel. Raise a war cry, you peoples, and be broken in pieces. Listen, all you distant lands of the earth. Gird yourselves and be broken in pieces. Gird yourselves and be broken in pieces. Take counsel together, but it will come to nothing. Speak a word, but it will not stand, for God is with us. For the Lord spoke thus to me with his strong hand upon me, and warned me not to walk in the way of this people, saying, Do not call conspiracy all that this people calls conspiracy, and do not fear what they fear, nor be in dread. But the Lord of hosts, him you shall honor as holy. Let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he will become a sanctuary and a stone of offense, and a rock of stumbling to both houses of Israel, a trap and a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And many shall stumble on it, they shall fall and be broken. They shall be snared and taken. Bind up the testimony, seal the teaching among my disciples. I will wait for the Lord, who is hiding his face from the house of Jacob, and I will hope in him. Behold, I and the children whom the Lord has given me are signs and portents in Israel from the Lord of hosts, who dwells on Mount Zion. And when they say to you, inquire of the mediums and the necromancers who chirp and mutter, should not a people inquire of their God? Should they inquire of the dead on behalf of the living, to the teaching and to the testimony? If they will not speak according to this word, it is because they have no dawn. They will pass through the land, greatly distressed and hungry. And when they are hungry, they will be enraged and will speak contemptuously against their king and their God, and turn their faces upward. And they will look to the earth, but behold, distress and darkness, the gloom of anguish, and they will be thrust into thick darkness,